Hey, it's Nay, and welcome back to Nay's Little Garden and Home. So, I have made videos about, starting a raised bed garden, starting a vertical garden, starting a grow bag garden, and now I want to do seed starting for the beginners for under $200. Now, I put this disclaimer on those videos and I'll put it here before we hop into it. There are ways to do this cheaper, and I'm actually going to offer up a few of those ways, but I don't know your resources. I don't know who's around you. I don't know what you already have in your home. But there are a multitude of ways to make gardening very affordable, and you can go bit by bit, by little pinch to eventually get what you feel like your ideal garden is. But I live in zone 6. I know a lot of times they say it doesn't matter. Basically that's saying I have like a medium growing season, meaning it gets cold. We have snow on the floor right now. Like snow, like snowing through, mountaintops and skiing and stuff type of snow outside. It's fluffy, it's kind of high type of stuff. So like I couldn't start carrots right now and beets, and there's some people who could. I mean, I feel like, isn't Florida have their tomatoes thriving right now? So if you're in a colder season, it could and most definitely could benefit you to have a seed starting thing. I'm gonna go through this, and then I'm gonna go through ways to do this even cheaper. So follow me, because I know under $200 is a lot of money still, but this is a pretty solid seed starting and kind of makes it fairly simple, easy, and the longevity of things will be pretty decent. So the exact number I have for this is $165 currently. We all know prices fluctuate, and I'm using Amazon. You in fact can go into big box stores or your smaller stores and see what their pricings are like as well, and go from there. The first thing you are going to need to have a seed starting area is to find a space where you're going to actually be able to start these seeds. It really depends how many seeds you're going to need to start, but a lot of people have like a shelf, some type of shelving unit. Now, you need somewhere to put these seeds, some light to grow these seeds, the soil to grow these seeds, okay? The seeds, and then a couple of extra things that would make growing easier and potentially faster. So one of the best things I've seen on here, and I've used something similar, is the Vivo Sun 6-pack starting tray. This is a 10 by 20.75, and it comes with the heat mat, the humidity domes, the 6-pack of the cells, right? The 6-pack, and it's 12 cells, so it's 72 cells. The base tray to hold it, because the actual pack has holes at the bottom, right, to release excess liquid, so you're not over water. Like if you over water or whatever, like it could drip down and it's not like rotting, because a lot of roots don't like to be waterlogged. And then the garden labels, and that's for $35. Insanity. I thought that was a pretty good price. Now, I did price out Epic Gardening is selling their stuff on Amazon, and for $190, which is why I said under $200, you could get the Epic Gardening 6-cell seed starting pack, which is 36 cells. It's less cells, but these things are built to last. If you watched my previous video, you saw them. They're sturdy. And what's really also kind of cool, unnecessary, but just fun, you can pick your color. They come in multitudes of colors, but they're sturdy. And the hole at the bottom is bigger than the other ones that you can get on Amazon, and your finger will fit in there to help make it easier to pop out the blocks when you're like up high and planting out. So I'm gonna show you, this is one I got from Amazon. You see how small those holes are? I basically come in here and I have to gently squeeze and try not to irritate the roots too much, and then pop that out. And that's definitely feasible. That's why I offered up the Vivo Sun one. It's definitely feasible. It's nothing crazy. You can do it, but the Epic Gardening one makes it easier. And that is $18 by itself. And then they have the Epic Gardening Seedling Heat Mat for $25. It's 20 watts. The plant growing trays. This is the base. This one has no holes, the 20 by 10. And you get 10 trays for $23. Then you have the, oh, hold on. So slow down. Slow down, Savannah. Right? So you can either do one of those others. So that pack comes with everything you need together. Versus if you go the Epic Gardening route, obviously it's gonna cost more. The quality is better, and you're gonna have to buy add all those things to the cart. The next thing you need is, okay, so you have the seed starting stuff. Where are you gonna put it? So if you're not growing a lot, you can use a table, right? And especially if you have a window, right, that has direct sunlight coming in a certain number of hours a day. I don't find that very useful for me in terms of not getting leggy seedlings. But if you do have a good window that gets some strong light, I mean, go ahead and do it. And then you won't have to buy a light, right? But if you do want to buy a light, it's $22 for a pack of 4 from Roco King, R-O-C-O King. It's 40 watts and it's dimmable and it comes with a timer. Now, this can also be less than $165 because I put ×2. So it comes with 4 plates, and I'm saying I'm gonna tell you about a shelving unit so you can grow more seeds. Now, if you are only growing a few plants, you might not need this. Now, take time with this starting tray. If you are cool with planting out your plants when they're small, then you don't need anything else. You might need to get the bigger, you can get these. Epic Gardening sells these, and Farmer, what's the name? Where did this come from? Made in USA. Okay, but what brand is this? Okay, I'm not sure of this brand, but you get bigger ones to up pot. All up pot means is that when you start in that small tray like I showed you, the plants can get bigger and bigger, and the roots will outgrow it, and you don't want your roots to start spiraling because then it becomes root bound and then it takes longer for them to recover outside. It's a whole thing. So if you wanted to start them earlier and get a little bit bigger of a plant, you don't want your plants to get too big, but a little bigger, you would get yourself bigger pots and then pot them into here. But this is not something I would stress because you really could do that and then plant them out. You would start them later than, let's say, I would, and then plant them out from those, and it will be just fine. If you look at the stuff you can get from the greenhouses and stuff, they're within those sizings. The next thing would be the shelf. So I have here the Amazon 4-shelf wire rack. It's $40. When you're done starting seeds, it can be used for other things. Like it's not bad. And then you can use the Roco King light you can use to do it. So it comes with 4 plates per the $22, and you can put 1, 2, 3. I think for the Amazon one, maybe 3 would fit and it would be good. And so you would do 3, and then you still have 1. And so then you can do another row of 3, and then you can do 1 of 2, and then just only use half that shelf. You don't want to spread out the light because these are not super strong seed starting lights, so you want to keep them closer together so that they're concentrated. And I would personally probably have it on the highest setting. Like I said, these are not the strongest lights. They do work. I have these lights. I have other lights, but I've worked and grown these, and the plants came out just fine. You know, there's a bunch of lights you can do. The only thing I would not advise is those tiny little clip-on circle lights or whatever for actually seed starting vegetables. Like, I know people use them for like their indoor plants, but you want a pretty concentrated light to help grow them. I've also heard people say you can use shop lights. Now, I've tried shop lights. The plants grew, but you can definitely tell the difference between a shop light, grown plants, and the plants from even just these lights, and then plants from even stronger lights. So they all work. Don't be concerned. And if you can get light, natural light. You know, and then the next thing you would need is the soil, right? The seed starting soil, because what are you gonna actually grow? What's the medium you're using? So the Espoma seed starting is, you get 8 quarts for $15. Now this might also vary because it depends how many seeds you're starting. 8 quarts might be enough. I put this Espoma one because I believe it's organic and it has everything you need. So you don't have to worry about buying like fertilizers and stuff to make sure, because I know people are like, oh, you can just grow it in the peat moss or the cocoa core, because the seed has all the nutrients it needs to naturally burst out and create the first set of true leaves or whatever. But if you're gonna go past the first set of true leaves, you're gonna start potentially needing to add a little fertilizer. You know what I mean? But if you use seed starting mix, that has some stuff in there, and now you're less likely to have issues. Okay, that's kind of where I'm sitting with that. And then after that, you need the seeds. So for the seeds, I use So Right seeds because you can buy them off of Amazon. I have used them. They were great. I went with So Right seeds because they have smaller bundles. So there's a bunch of guys, there's a ton of different types of seeds on Amazon. I've used So Right seeds. I like them. They've worked for me. But one thing, I'm using these because the packets are smaller. So some of them have like 20 seed packets, 30 seed packets, 40 seed packets. Don't open this bag for 50 years and the seeds will still grow. You don't need all of that if you're just seed starting, right? So I have 5 packets and I have only 2 types of things, peppers and tomatoes. You can go online and go look. I would suggest trying to find little like collections, the small collections, because price per packet is significantly cheaper. So for $8, right, you can get the So Right seed 5-packet classic tomato collection. That comes with a couple slicers, a cherry, aroma, and then one of my things like a purple tomato, and then the other ones are red. So you're getting some varieties here. That was gonna work for you for a multitude of reasons. 1, the coloring is going to be really pretty. 2, they're going to come in at different times. Cherry tomatoes typically come in faster. You can use these for all different sorts of things. You can also use them for all the same things, right? Slicers, cherries, aromas, all of these can be used to make sauces. All of these can be used raw, like you just eat them in sandwiches, or just with some salt and pepper, basil. What else can you use them for? And whatever you can use tomatoes for, all of them are gonna work just fine. And then you'll have 5 different types to grow, which would be something interesting. And you can literally grow the same thing, like done off 1 packet each year or every other year, or whatever you'd like, right? Just keep them in a cool, dark spot. You'll be just fine. And that's $8 for 5 packets. Yes, you can get 1 So Right seed packet and be like, I don't need to grow multiple varieties. Just know you're gonna spend half that price. At $8, you're gonna spend about $4 to get 1 packet. You get what I'm saying when it comes to money wise? And if you and somebody else wants to grow, you guys can split this. You know what I mean? Next is the So Right seeds 5 packs of the sweet bell pepper seed collection. This is for people who cannot do spicy, right? You just want to grow sweet bell peppers. This is very cool. You get an orange, purple, yellow, chocolate, and a red. You grow on all the bell peppers. And the thing is, there's no specific plant for green bell peppers, right? So you can pick some of these early before they change color, because they're going to grow green and then they're going to change color as they ripen, right? So you'll grow these and then you'll get the different colors, and that will be fabulous, because we all know, right, the non-green bell peppers in the grocery store are more expensive because they're typically more flavorful, because they're the ripe version of the green bell pepper. And I think that's really cool. I think that's very fire, and that's for $10. Now, for those of you who like them a mix of sweet and spicy, instead of getting that $10 packet of the sweet bell pepper seed collection, you can get the So Right seeds 7 packets, and that's $9. And you get red bell pepper and the yellow bell pepper, so you can still get green, red, and yellow, because remember, the red and yellow come in green first. Sweet banana peppers, which is still sweet, it's just a different shape. Flavoring's a little different, and I think they have a little bit of a thinner wall maybe. And then the rest of them are a little spicy. So you got the Anaheim, the Cayenne, the Poblano, and the Cubanelle. Cayenne pepper, I do believe, is a very useful plant to grow. It could replace black pepper for you. Black pepper, I feel like it's harder to grow. The black pepper fruit to then dry out and do it, and it's like a whole process. But cayenne pepper, right? You grow them and you can use them for cooking for sure. But then you can also slice them, dehydrate them. You don't need a dehydrator. You can have your oven, put it on its lowest setting, and leave them in there for several hours to dry out. Then you can smash them up. That could take a process. You also can just hop on Amazon, and for like $15, $18, get you. I have this little coffee grinder. I use for everything. I get the medium coarse cornmeal because it's cheaper and they have less stuff in there. And I grind it down before I make my porridge. And I put like that grinder is amazing. I've had it for like 3 years, and I feel like I've spent $20 or less on that. It's amazing. Anyway, you can use that grinder for your dehydrated products to make a powder, and then you've made your own cayenne powder. Poblanos, I'm not a fan of the flavor of poblanos raw, but I like what they taste like cooked, and they grow very easy. I'm looking out here because I'm literally looking at poblanos I should have picked before this snow hit. They just grew so easy for me. Like, I feel like light work. The Anaheims are similar to like cayennes, and the Cubanelles are very, they say that they're a little spicy. Sure, I guess. They're very mildly spicy. So if you want to even get into eating spicy peppers, consuming it, Cubanelle would probably be your best bet. When it comes to making like stuff for like colds and season, peppers are gonna help burn away the cold, right? So like that's why you can make your chicken noodle soup spicy, or all types of things. Just add some kick to it. These are the peppers that you could use to do that. They're not obnoxiously spicy. So that totals out to $165. Oh, and then I put tax at $10, right? I just want to give you as most reasonable expectation as possible, and it came out to $165. But let's just say under $200. And now let's talk about ways you can make this a lower price. You could automatically take out $44 of this, because remember, you're getting 2 packs of the grow lights. If you have a space that actually gets a good amount of sun, guys, like 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours of sun, and you would need to test that. A lot of seeds don't necessarily need light to germinate, but some do, like some herbs. But we're not talking about herbs today, but I'm just saying like that, they would need light to germinate. But yeah, so that would take out $44 right there. You almost under $100 already. If you, how can I explain this? If you already have some type of shelving unit, or you are cool with using, like you have a table you can turn so that whole table is getting hit by the sun, that also is going to take out another $40. Now you're definitely under $100 already. You get what I'm saying? You can go to the Dollar Tree or Walmart or any of those bigger box stores and get you some cups, some solo cups. You are going to need to have to poke some holes in the bottom of it, because they don't come with the holes. So yeah, you're gonna have to do that. They are gonna take more soil, but you can in fact do that, and then you won't even need to up pot because it's in bigger pots. I did that. It worked just fine for me. You can also get smaller cups, right? The smaller solo cups, and poke them in, and then those would work pretty good too. Those are not going to last you many years. They might. You might be able to be that delicate and that kind. I am not one of those. So after about 2 years, I feel like you have to keep changing out those cups. But that might save you money, especially if you're talking about like immediate. Or maybe you can buy, okay, I got to just start this and I got the other stuff. But the cups are going to have to do. That's okay as well. That's going to save you some money. Now, I did the initial section I told you comes with all the stuff together. So if you're looking at the Epic Gardening, then that thing could help. Do you necessarily need a heat mat? No. You do need to know that it's going to take the tomatoes and peppers longer to grow, though, especially the peppers. Peppers take even longer, and the heat mat is going to help warm up that seed to make them sprout, but you do not need them. You just might have to start them maybe 7 to 10 days even earlier than you think to give it that time and trust the process, because they should pop up. You do want to plant more than one seed per section though, just to make sure you do get some type of germination. The other thing is the soil. I gave you guys a pretty good seed starting soil. You can get a cheaper one. People have grown in cheaper soil. If that's what you need to do, that's what you need to do. You know what I mean? The other thing that you could do, I mean, the light really isn't expensive, but if you didn't have good light, but you still want to do the light, you can go get those shop lights. I do believe that in certain stores, the shop lights, I think is one shop light is like, I don't want to tell you a number. I feel like it wasn't as cheap as they made it out to be, but it's a big light. I do think if you're going to have a shelving unit, I tried to do one, and I think that's where I came off with legginess. You're going to have to put 2 shop lights next to each other, and they are bigger type of vibes, but you can definitely make that work. Definitely. I also feel like even cheaper than having to buy stuff, because we still have a couple weeks before you would start some seeds. If you get takeout, okay, you most definitely can use your takeout seed things to start seeds. Like, you can pop some holes in the bottom of this, fill this up with soil, okay, and you could do a few things here, right? You can just draw a line in the soil and have 2 different types of like tomato, right, or 2 different pepper. You could literally sit here and draw yourself a bunch of lines. Like, you could come here through, put the soil in here, and just do like 1, 2, 3, and then have 4 groupings, and then 1, 2, and then have 3, and then have them so started that way. Soil blocking, I didn't even offer you guys a soil blocker because I struggled. It took me a while to get it right. Once you get it right, you could also use that to put the soil blocks in here. To do that, you could also, I mean, here's another one I've gotten from, I guess I save the things because they can work. And pop some holes in the bottom of this. And these were free, right? Like, if you already, I'm not saying to go get takeout to just for this, but if you already do that, stop throwing these out and save them. And if you're like me, you might already save them, so you can just go ahead and pick them out, and that's free 99 at that point, right? And then technically you could be like, well, the food was cheaper than it was actually cost, because that means we're using the tins, but girl math. Anyway, yeah, I've seen people use stuff like this. I am holding my extra soil right now. And they pop holes at the bottom, and they grow stuff in here. Something like this would be, well, you could start anything in this, but something like this would be great for like herbs, especially since you could really grow herbs year round in your house, especially if you already got the seed starting stuff, and keep them going strong. And a lot of herbs you can continue to grow from cuttings. So let's say you put it out in your garden, your thyme did grow, you can, I think thyme, don't quote me, there's a bunch of herbs that you can cut, like sage, and then poke a hole and make sure you keep an eye on it, water it and stuff, and it'll keep growing, and then you can keep coming in and snipping that out type of vibe. But yeah, you can start tomatoes, peppers. I mean, are you doing onions? If you're doing onions would be great in something like this. I mean, if you're gonna take a whole thing of that growing onions, you're gonna have like 180,000 onions, but I'm being dramatic, but you get what I'm saying, a lot of them. So that's basically all I really wanted to talk about today. So that's under $200, and you could do it for under $100. You could do it for a $50 range, like I said, using the things and depending on what you already have. And that would be great. And if you're only, let's say you're doing the grow bag situation, right? So you have the 5 grow bags. It's not like you can grow a ton of this stuff. So you're going to take this price, right? And you can automatically slash this in half, even if you buy all of these things. Because at the end of the day, you don't need 72 cells, right? So now you and another friend could do the 72 cells. Now, I'm not sure if you could take the shelf, the wire rack shelf, and make two level shelves or not. That would be something you'd have to look into. There gotta be shelves you can do that with, so they're probably all around that $40-$50 range. Like I said, seeds, you can go to Dollar Tree, Dollar General, wherever they sell those little cheaper seed packets. That could do well. If you have a friend or even just know somebody that gardens. Be nice, of course, but you know, talk about it, show interest in it, and they might even offer you some seeds. Because I'd be like, oh, you want some seeds? And or be like, you know, oh, I'm not trying to make you or anything, but if you had any extra seeds that you could, I could have, I would really appreciate it to start it, just to minimize my seed starting budget, because I have a small seed starting budget. You might be surprised how many people would be like, oh yeah, well, I have some seeds, and then they could, I have a bunch of little seed packs, but I would put them a little 3-4 seeds, seal it up, put the name of it on there, and give them away to, here, start your seeds. And then that would save you almost $20, right? Because then you will have seeds from somebody else. And you can save seeds after that and keep this price lower and lower every single year. Anyway, that's all I want to talk about. Thank you so much for watching this whole video, or even a portion of this video. Go ahead and let me know what your seed starting. Do you even start your seeds earlier than, like indoors? If so, about how much would you think is a reasonable price to spend, or how much did you spend type of vibe? Because I think there's just so many ways to do it. Let's talk about it down in the comment section. Anyway, hopefully I see you in my next video. Bye-bye.